Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. So today I'm going to do some channeling and also read some channeled messages that I've read throughout, that I've written down throughout the week. The chat bar will be open. I am an intuitive counselor, so if you'd like to have a one-on-one Zoom session with me, my link is down below on my website, Codes to a New Reality. Okay, we're going to get into this because I'm literally taking deep breaths all the time at the moment because there's so much shifting within, well, my consciousness, and I know that if it's shifting in mine, then it's shifting in others as well. And so at this moment in time, there's a lot of us that are starting to realize we can reboot, restart, shift the story, change direction in our reality. And when you start to understand the ramifications of that, it can take you into unknown territory, but also excitement as well, because when we take a leap into or away from something that we don't want, and we're leaping into something that we've never really created before, there's an unknown aspect to that. So there's a vulnerability that happens to it, but there's also a release, a letting go, and it's literally jumping timelines. And so a lot of the channeling that I got this week was to do with, okay, we're always coming back to ourselves and that sort of thing, but it's literally shifting us into these other time zones, these other frequencies that where our outside world is meeting us in a whole other way. And it's always up to the individual within your external reality, whether they want to come or go or whatever, but it's up to them, and it's up to you on how you want to carve or focus in on the reality that you are desiring. This could be a reality that you say, I just desire peace. I just desire to live on this world in a humble little home, with my rose garden and my pets, and I'm in peace for the rest of my life. I just want to feel peace. That could be something that you attain to. It could be that you have a bigger mission. I want to be somebody that, stands in front of millions and speaks my words of truth and then shifts reality that way. It could be whatever story you decide, but when we realize that we are the creators of our reality, we can choose the story that we wanted. Many years ago, when I realized that I was the creator, this is after I had this incredible opportunity of learning how to still my mind, after I was shown by my guides where a gold bracelet was left on the beach under the sand, and they told me to dig in this specific spot, and I ended up finding this gold bracelet. But at the same time, they were telling me how to change my thoughts, and after that, they taught me how to be able to still my mind, at least for moments. And when I got the hang of that, I decided, well, if I can still my mind, which is coming back to 0 point, which means that everything in my reality, it doesn't exist, and it exists, and many more possibilities exist all at the same time. Then when I was out camping, I decided to put this to practice, and I sat on this field and I just randomly plonked myself down and went, okay, what can my logical brain handle? It can handle picking a 4-leaf clover. So I'm going to blank my mind, like still my mind like they taught me, and then pick a blade of grass. And I 100% had it in my reality, or my consciousness, that it would be a 4-leaf clover. I had nowhere else for my reality to reflect back. And then I picked this, what could be a blade of grass, looked at it, and it was this 4-leaf clover, which just gobsmacked my logical brain, because I was like, this is for real. We are creators of our own reality. So all these like little snippets of interest and understanding and wisdom that they were pouring through me throughout my life was starting to make sense. But to get ourselves out of that mind game that everything outside of us is more real than who we are and the power of who we are, is huge. And you go backwards and forwards until you get it. I'm going to read out some of these really cool channel messages too that I've written down throughout the week. Hey Jules, hey Jeannie, hey Sasha. But this is the time when those who have done the work, we start to realize just how much power we have, where we can go with this, where can we take this? So yeah, when I realized it, I started to say to myself, well, what do I want? What do I really, really want? And I thought, I'm interested in UFOs and that sort of thing. So I started to focus my attention on that. Boom, I started seeing UFOs again in my life. I mean, I had a couple of encounters, but I started to see more and so forth. And so the whole alien agenda started to come into my reality a lot more, because it was one of my interests. But you can choose whatever you like. See, you don't have to even choose something that's so out of this world. You can, if you want, just choose to manifest a beautiful, humble home where you feel at peace, and you can go out and smell the roses and really be present in your life. You can choose whatever you like. You can choose to build a massive business and so forth, but this is all coming from the heart now, the heart space, the understanding that our outside reality is a reflection of us. And so if we don't like something outside of us, there's something within us that is trying to teach us. Okay, let's get into some of these messages. I'm having my cup of tea at the same time, guys, because I really feel like it. Okay, so to truly change something in your reality, one has to come from a whole other perspective. So here we are, humanity. We've got all these bombarding rules, regulations. This is what reality is. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Oh my God, you have to try to survive. Oh, why don't you buy this? Bling, bling, bling. And we get sucked into it, and we're like looking at our phones, we could have that and all that sort of stuff. And then we're like, why is my life boring? Why is my life, just feels like nothing, or it feels, why am I always getting angry things coming back at me? Well, have a look at your whole perspective, at your whole self, because you can't change anything if you're still holding on to past hurts, by thinking that that's going to protect you, because your thinking of that literally has you looking for some sort of scenario in your life. And your focus is then the force that creates everything outside of you. And you end up getting into the same actions and reliving the same game, because focus ends up depicting your actions next. And if you have a certain line of understanding how this world works, but you want the world to change, and you're still doing the same actions, you're putting energy into that same story that was poured over your eyes that you want to change. So we have to start looking at life through a new perspective. This is why when we start doing clearing and all of that, when we start to do the clearing, we start to find space within our minds, and we can then focus our attention on something else, because clearing of old past wounds and everything like that, which is the shadow work, literally when you clear it, you get a space. You feel like all of a sudden creating something, like doing more artwork. You have more energy. You're not so tense. Your body's not so tense anymore, and you start to do more in the things that you really, really love, which then changes your reality, because now you're focusing and putting all your attention, your focus, and your action into what you really desire. So we have to come from, well, if I don't like that happening in my life, I have to switch it up and look for a new perspective, look for something different. So it goes hand in hand with the whole clearing game, that whole new perspective and looking for something different. Anyway, I know that I do bring up that a fair bit, but they keep bringing it up, so I am bringing it up. We feel whole in each other's company when reflected with acceptance and love. That reflection is a sense of belonging, a returning home, not because another person fills you up with anything that you lack, but because their reflection is that which you have already found within yourself. It's the ultimate grounding of love within humanity's consciousness. So that's a sweet one. What else have we got here? From the CYANIANS on the 18th of January. When civilizations have risen and fallen, when our past catches up to our future, Prime Creator will start again by falling far into forgetting who it is through life forms it creates to explore more and more. This never-ending journey will be forever, all so that adventures can play out. Choosing the game isn't choosing the avatar or our body or our species. Where the soul finds its gold within its experience, and how one returns to the divine spark of all consciousness, that of love. From there, another journey can be explored through the eyes of the soul that rides another lineage of soul energy through the veins of energy that drive a path to and from Prime Creator, or what humans may call God. So that in itself, that whole story right there is talking about actually the bringing it up, because humanity's consciousness is literally coming back into finding love within themselves, which then aligns them up to the frequency of the divine spark, which then allows us to create new stories. So we're coming from, okay, our mind needs to change perspective. We need to clear all of the blockages. Then we're going on this journey of absolute self-love, aligning ourselves with source energy and coming back to 0 point within our own self. And then we go, ooh, what can we create from this point? So dotted around this earth at the moment, we're getting a lot of people that are waking up to coming back to that divine spark within themselves and recognizing that they're the creator and that they can change the story. And that's why, like, you might feel like you're doing these quantum leaps into new timelines, because when you are doing this work, this is how we are shifting our reality, because it's your perspective that's shifting. They wrote out this whole big thing on time, so I'm going to read that out to you as well, guys. Hi Sky, good to see you. I'm doing it a different day today. We're not doing the Tuesday because I put a video up on Monday, so I thought I'll wait one more day for me to go live and do these live channelings. So let's talk about this this was called Quantum Timelords and Teleportation. And I channeled this through on the 21st of January, 2024. Why does it seem like time is going faster and faster? When we come from time as an illusion, it isn't actually time that moves, but you that move through your journey that creates time. It's like standing still and watching walls move beside you. It creates the illusion of movement. You are then watching the world move through seasons and patterns that creates the illusion of time, and therefore gives you a birth to death reality. This is full on, guys. So this is from the CYANIANS as well. Therefore, it isn't time that's speeding up, but your ability to clear negative thinking, which only holds you in the past or projects your past into your future again. Once you learn to control and navigate through those thoughts that hold you bound, you will start to raise your consciousness closer to living in the moment, where your story has caught up with your true alignment, that of your soul or prime creator again. As time can speed up so fast that it can also become one. This is where many come to the realization that time does not exist and that all past, present, and future is purely being played out in this moment from your perspective. So when we jump timelines, we are actually jumping into living in the moment and going from there, because we are no longer holding on to patterns that keep us reliving that which has already passed us, allowing us to shift our story. And therefore the jump is within you, as your outside reality has nowhere to go but towards the focus you now hold. Therefore the universe literally bends to meet you. Our clearings can become more intense as we get to the core issue of forgetting our true nature, that of love, going on a journey through these bodies. So just like at the moment, I really feel this is where humanity's at. We're getting into this more intense clearing because we're starting to realize the power of us being able to say no to things that have held us, and opening up whole new realities. Now, that doesn't mean that you are in any way, all you're doing is controlling you. You cannot control somebody else's decision on whether they come with you or not. That is their decision. But to know, we kind of know when we get to those points that also that anyone that's supposed to be in our life will be in our life. It's meant to be that way. So you kind of relax into it, and you don't get so tense with it all and trying to worry about other people that are around you, when they're coming, what they're doing, and all that sort of stuff. It's all coming back to you. This is all about you coming back to you. You are a quantum Time Lord, and the more you have control over your focus as the only outcome, the quicker you can shift the story without looking back. The more your world can jump from one outcome to another. This then bleeds into teleportation, because teleportation is a localized thing, and a localized place, teleportation is to do with jumping to another locality, is what they're trying to say. I probably didn't write that down properly, but I know what they were talking about. And many consciousnesses or humans hold locations as fixed. So wherever you're jumping to, if you were teleporting, these people have a specific energy that is holding that locality into a fixed position. Your first gift you'll need to awaken before jumping or teleporting is the ability to remote view, so that you can align with not only your physical location and see what's happening, but also the vibrational meet of the people on that location, because you don't want to be jumping into walls or on top of another person or in front of a fast-moving car. So to remote view gives you not only the frequency, but a safe place to enter into that location. Yeah, so that's a big topic, right? Time speeding up, and why it's going faster, because the more you're clearing, and humanity's consciousness is literally raising their vibration. So it literally feels like everything's speeding up. Now, when I had an experience of meeting of the elementals who are in a higher, faster frequency, and we are slowly raising our frequency to their frequency so that we can have more communication with them and understanding of Gaia herself, because they are the bodies or the avatars that link us to Gaia. When I was walking through 1,000-year-old forest, this person in front of me said, "Oh, there's a portal here," and I'm walking there going, "Oh, of course there is," because I've had so many experiences. I just accept. And then the next step that I took was I looked at my step and it was slow motion, like really one of those movies, right, where everything just goes slow motion. And I looked up, and here's this elemental being at the side of the path, and he noticed that I noticed him. He's about 2 feet tall, and it was very shadowy because I wasn't completely in their frequency. So from my point of view, he looked more shadowy than solid, but there was solid features that came where I could see. I knew he saw me. I knew he was looking at me, that sort of thing. There was a knowing, but a definite figure, like an outline of a figure, and like leprechaun-ish, or I don't know, that sort of thing. Anyway, he was very quick. He went straight in front of me, hid behind a tree, and then realized I could still see him because I'm like following him, and he's like looking behind this tree. I'm like, gosh, he still sees me. And then he zipped from one tree to another tree to another tree. It's literally like being in a movie, in a crazy-ass movie. My life is a crazy-ass movie. Anyway, and as he was going from one tree to another, he was going further and further away from me because he didn't want to be involved with me, because they've also gone through their own challenges as well, because their reason for being was denied when humanity never included them in their life, because they were the go-betweens, humanity and Mother Earth herself, and the animals and the plant life and all of that. They are the ones that hold many keys and wisdom of plant medicine, of portals, of different adventures, different dimensions, of the understanding of the elements, the water, the fire, and all of that sort of stuff. So I was bringing that up just to give you an understanding of when we raise our vibration into less and less holding on to past things that are holding us hostage, literally, and listening to someone outside of us to say that's the only reality that we can live in. When we start to clear ourselves and find the power within us through connection to our soul and source energy as that power, the anxiety starts to shift away. We start to move through our life without fear. We are literally shifting our reality into higher dimensions, and this is then we have the ability to shift our story. And it's always going to be a little bit of a challenge for a while, because we have been taught and fixated on the logical mind, knowing more than our soul, knowing more than our inner world. Our outside world is more important than our inner world. Our masculine world is more important than our feminine world. We're constantly doing and that sort of thing, because we're not in line with the receiving and understanding that we, in our divine right of just being here in a human body, has the capacity and the divine right to have abundance filling us up all the time. So through our decisions and where we want to place our focus and our attention. So they're now bringing me to gatherings being created, because this year 2024, we've done the single work, we've done the inner work, we're finding ourselves, but eventually we have to branch out. It's all to do with branching into different collective groups, because we're trusting them, but because we're trusting ourselves. And then when groups form, energy starts to pull together and create a new body or mass of vibration or meat that everyone has already been yearning to move into, and anyone else that's not meeting that will fall away through they can't get there on time, And so even if you start a group and it ends up being a smaller group than what you thought or whatever, just remember you're holding a frequency for the right people to come in, even if it starts with one other person that you're meeting at the moment. Or it could be like with myself, I've asked for a couple of people to meet for a cup of coffee. It's blowing out into what I now call the gathering. I have like 200 members, and this has all happened within the space of like 10 days. And now we're doing, a couple of weeks, and now we're doing another gathering. Or maybe it was 3 weeks. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Now we're doing another gathering where we're collectively coming together, and my guides are telling me to gather by a body of water. So there's a reason for that too, because there's a vibrational meet when we start to come together, and then we can start to shift. The body of water will shift easier because it's water to our vibration, and then you become even bigger because you become that body of water as well as yourself. There's something to do with a link that's happening between water, humanity, earth, benevolent beings, raising our vibration. It's all part of the whole big parcel. Anyway, I'm really excited about that. So that's happening for me on the 10th of February. I've put it all together, gone, found the location, already got people wanting to turn up. So yeah, they're talking about chanting as well and stuff. Anyway, I'll talk about that more in another video, but I think they wanted to touch in on this because we are going to be uniting with more people and then teaching others, and then everyone's going to be teaching each other, but there are some that are holding specific codes and specific keys that are there specifically to align others to more to expand their world. And I know that I'm one of them, because I wouldn't be doing these lives, doing the channeling and all of that. There's no ego attached to it. I see everyone as having a piece of the puzzle that's uniquely needed for the whole of the group dynamic. They're bringing in a lot of talking about unification, so we can do the single work that's coming to, clearing our own thoughts and learning that we are shifting our reality. But unless we have cleared the clutter of not trusting ourselves, we cannot unite with others. And it's when humanity's consciousness says no more to those that have held us, we are then really saying no more to our logical mind dictating to us how things have to be. And our logical mind has a very limited perception of reality because it only knows your life now, that you've been in now. It doesn't have the expansion or the awareness of what the soul understands, which is many, many trillions of different lives, and how it did get out of different circumstances, how to get out of those things, how to bring in new gifts. And if you can imagine it, it is literally, if you can imagine it, that's because it's something that you can actually do within this body, in this this avatar. But they're saying to me it has to be a imagination and logic saying yes to it, not just a whimsical imagination, because the soul has also been in avatars or bodies where its reality was completely different, and so different gravitational pulls and all sorts of things and dynamics. That's another thing they're bringing up. Oh, this is so interesting. Even gravity will shift. Oh gosh. Even gravity will become, maybe this is where, we see if people leaving their bodies and I don't know whether they'll be able to levitate their actual body or something like that. This is coming in now as well, where you can literally cause a bubble around you to shift your your magnetism to the earth, and that can allow you to levitate. Oh, that's really interesting as well. I love the stuff that they bring through. It's so juicy. Oh, Sky, I wish you could be with us as wow. Oh, Lindy, that would be so fun. Wouldn't it be fun to do a worldwide one somewhere? Let's just take this gathering from one country to another, to another, to another. Just bring everyone in together whenever you meet on that country. I would love to do that. That would be so fun and exciting. You never know what's going to happen, right? In the future. Is my reality. Yeah, put it out there, guys. Who knows how it's all going to turn out? Yeah, Bobbies World Tour. Love it. It would be fun. That would be so much fun. Imagine that. Yeah, so okay, let's ground myself so I can come back into these messages, although the messages aren't very grounded at the moment. It's fine. That's really interesting too, because the elder that I met, she came up to me and said, people are going to tell you to ground yourself. You're not supposed to. You are fine. You're grounded enough. It's all good. I don't know why she said that. I think it's got something to do with being part of Gaia already. Like I have this inclination that I'm one of Gaia's messengers of go-between Pleiades, and there's something about the fallen Pleiades. I don't know. Anyway, that's me. Let's carry on. It is really interesting, though, when you start to just release a lot of the stories of self-doubt, don't deserve, who am I to be that sort of thing, how much these other interesting stories start to pour through you. And I really feel there's so many of us out there that are starting to awaken to more and more of who they truly are. And this is like literally going to change the vibration around you, around your world that you have perceived. And when you change your vibration about what you perceive, which is the only thing that really truly exists, is your core perception of reality, the reality bends to meet it. So you become more of that. And, you know, it is within the allowance of just letting it come through organically. Don't try to force it. Don't try to be anything. Just allow it. And if the gifts meet that vibration, where like all of a sudden, you know, a few years ago, I'm like, the vibrational meet of myself was, well, why not be a channeler? Why not go live? And then all of us, now I am, you know, and I just, because I didn't have a degree in it, I didn't have some sort of certificate over there that someone told me I was a channeler, I accepted it within myself. And so now the gift becomes me because I become it. And then it goes further and further into your connection to your authentic selves, because you start to take these leaps into, okay, maybe I do have in another life, I can feel that, I have dreams of telekinesis, teleportation, astral traveling, all of those sort of cool, fun things. And so because they're in your reality mind, your imagination, you can ask your logic, well, maybe we can play around with that. Maybe we can just, and what you're doing is you're grounding it, because you're starting to remember the ability, starting to remember the frequency match of you in that other life. And when you had that gift, and bringing it into this life and being able to access the allowance of your mind creating the story that you are that. And so you become it, and that's you grounding more of that past life into this reality, which is giving humanity freedom. Because if you really think about it, when we have a device like this that's that's not telepathic. It's like a go-between. It's like we've jumped into a reality where we have a device that says that this could be perceived as telepathy in an outside way, but we need something physical outside of us to say that we have this. Now, powers to be know that they can control this because they can take it away, they can manipulate the program, they can do all that, and we have it in our psyche that that's what they can do as well. So they've trained us to think, well, they can change the program, and they can see you through it and all that. So we've been trained to be kind of wary of it, but also wanting to use it, right? When we say, okay, that's just go-between, because I'm going to link myself to the fact that I am telepathic. Do have the ability to connect through vibrational meet with my sister, my brother, my friend, and just feel into their vibration, and then have the story come through you as to what they're doing. And then that ends up playing out in your imagination. You see them for what they are doing in that moment, or where, what they're thinking, or whatever it is. If nobody wants to be, if you don't want to have people linking in with you, by that stage, when you get to that power of actually being able to be telepathic, when you get to that stage, you can block who, you can say no to that vibration. I'm only meeting people in this higher frequency, which means you're already in an acceptance of loving who you are. So you're already, you know what I'm saying? So more and more of us are waking up to this. That means that as we clear more and more of us start to become linked through love, through telepathy. Because even when the elder held my hand, she had to go into this breathing, like really strong meditation like this, to be able to link with me, because I wasn't at the same frequency as her. So she had to do it through love to link with me. And I all of a sudden raised my vibration, because you have to meet somewhere, right? Through love. So I raised my vibration through love to be able to exchange my story, my life story with her, which she then felt it within herself, and then shifted, like then you change it into words, just like how I'm doing when I'm channeling. And so she ended up, squeezing my hand when I said something that was, hurtful that happened to me in my life. And then telling me later, isn't it amazing? Like these sort of things blew my mind when she whispered in my ear, it's incredible, it's magical, isn't it? It's what she said. It's magical, isn't it? But she had to do this really amazing breathing. But when we raise humanity's consciousness into self-acceptance that this is possible through the love of who we are, more and more and more of us raising into this love vibration, we literally become like automatically linked. We don't have to go around going and breathing into, it's just natural. It becomes a natural thing. So your life is moving in and out of different frequencies of people saying, do you mind? I'm coming over in an hour. I'm going to teleport to your house in an hour. And this is bringing me to the reality of my guides shifting me into another vibration and showing me that this is where humanity can go to. So interesting that this is coming up. So maybe this is something in my lifetime, or the seeds have been planted for the next generations to come, right? Where when I woke up in future Earth, and my mind was still. That's the first thing that I noticed, because I'd never had up till that experience a still mind. I didn't even know it existed. So when I woke up, it was like a euphoric, like, whoa, nothing, like just being completely present in every single moment. I just kept, it was just a natural given me. And then because of that, I had friends that wanted to come over, and they were far away, and they linked with me telepathically and said, "Are you free?" And then I am like, "Yeah, I'm free for a visit," because I knew that's what they wanted to do, because that was the energy exchange. And then I ended up walking to the door, like it happened pretty quickly. And then they teleported to the door. And yeah, so hi, you can open the physical door. It was a physical place. And I was high up on a mountain, away from, and it might be something like my higher self where I live, and one of my higher frequencies lives, away from all of the hoo-ha. Like, the only way to get there was to teleport. So you have to already be risen in a higher frequency to get there. And then we ended up moving, like I walked on the balcony outside of my home with them, chatting. And then I'm like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And they're like, "Yeah." Well, I could physically go into my house and get the kettle and make the cup of tea if I wanted to, but I just thought easier to manifest it in my hand. So I manifested in my hand. And this was told to me, that this is the potential of humanity and where we can go. And so then we walked around the outside veranda. It was really huge, and there was this table and chairs, that was sitting down, and we could sit down. With the view was incredible, mountains in the background, and literally felt like you could link in with parts of Earth whenever you wanted to, through this clarity of South. But then there was this tree that was beside me, and it was really huge, like it had all these leaves that were touching the ground. So it was perfect. It was this perfect ball of these leaves coming out. And now I realize, because I didn't know anything about the Taurus energy or anything like that, the only way for me to come back into this reality was to get sucked. I got sucked or pulled into the tree of life, I suppose it is, back into this body, and went. I listened to some music straight after that experience, and then from then on, that piece of music kept bringing me back to stillness. So I kept doing that, and I ended up painting a painting of the dream in the end, which I have hanging in my hallway. So I was gifted that, to be able to explain to you guys that this is our potential, and that these things, these devices outside of us, is just a go-between. It's a stepping stone. It's not the end result. The end result is you coming back into full alignment and power of yourself, being able to still your mind whenever you want, to be able to have that euphoric feeling all the time. And it felt amazing. So that you can actually lift your vibration into a higher frequency. So when you start getting these gifts happening, like the ability to teleport, do telekinesis, and all those, I mean, there's way more gifts that humanity has. There's so many people out there with all these incredible, interesting codes that they hold within them, pieces of the puzzle of our future, right? And when we do end up aligning into that frequency, we've already shifted ourselves out of any sort of nemesis coming at us, because we know, what, that story? Oh, long gone. Why would I even focus on a story that doesn't make me feel good anymore? I've learned how to make myself feel good. I've learned how to shift these stories. So at the moment, humanity, a lot of us that are watching this sort of thing anyway, that watch me, will be going through this transit of maybe something really difficult that could be happening to them, but it's only to show them how strong, how far they've come, how strong they are to get out of that. Yeah. And I did bring this up in the last message, but it's coming up again. So beautiful. Hey, Jeannie. Hey, Jules. Hey, Woo Train. Sorry, Flower. Good to see you guys. I get stuck with manifesting, creating all this stuff. Does it create garbage? Does it create garbage? I'm not sure what you actually mean there. I'm thinking, get stuck in manifesting. Does it create garbage? Like everything, like you can manifest something and think that that's what you really want, but really what you're looking for is peace of mind. And so that thing might not have given you peace of mind. So then you end up creating, I suppose, something in line with garbage. That's the only thing that I could say for that. But can you unmanifest the cup of tea? Oh, I get what you're saying. Right. Yes. And that's where you're in line with the energy frequency. So yeah, the physical, it's funny because if you come from a logical point of view and you look at that higher perspective that I was telling you about, you could perceive all those problems, right? Because we have those problems when we're thinking from a logical point of view, that a material world and it's stuck and that's it, and got lots of garbage and stuff like that. But it was really interesting when I had this other incredible dream where I met with Gaia herself, with Mother Earth, and she had a flipper that was wounded on one side. So she was wounded by all the torment, just like humanity is wounded too by all that we've gone through, because we had to learn all about our logical side, and it was a very imbalanced state to be in. She ended up telling me that don't worry about the garbage and all of that stuff, because when you lift your vibration into a higher frequency, there is also things like organic molds that will break those sort of things down faster in those higher frequencies, because we're now creating our reality, right? There's all these stories of people being able to move into bodies of water and being able to clear it through their intentions, where it's kind of like, how can I explain this? It's like if you have something that's going squiff within your body, you can shift it by telling your cells, to go back to the original state that it was born into, and that's coming from a clarity of mind. And it's not until you actually experience these things that you have these abilities that start happening with you, that you start to understand clarity in mind can also equal clarity of your world that you're creating. And so you can create a world, because there's only one perspective from your point of view, that all of a sudden over there somebody has learned how to clean up that garbage, or how to, and so that's another stepping stone until we get into what I was talking about, is still ways to go to get to that future that they show me. They show me the potential. And so the potential is, yes, you could energetically bring in, solidify a cup of tea and all of that sort of stuff, knowing the vibrational meat of it, and then allowing it to disperse into energy again. But that is a giant leap. And I don't want you to think that that's too big a leap for my logical brain to even handle. And it might be, but there is many, many, many steps between that and us clearing our path, clearing our mind, and understanding the power of who we are. But as we do start to realize that there is more and more and more and more and more potential, because people like me have been shown it by benevolent beings and taken there, and I've experienced it, that my words will hopefully carry you into knowing that there is more and more and more that we can expand into. Because everything that we are creating has to be in agreement with the logical mind to be able to ground it into our reality. So if we just go off in an airy-fairy way, we might not be grounded, and we'll become like the autistic savants who have all these gifts but not grounded in this reality. And the whole purpose of this is to ground more of our gifts into this reality so that we can become our own empowered leaders, our own empowered selves, creating. And you might not even want to have those sort of gifts. You might want to just have peace of mind, like I said at the beginning of this reading, where you're just quite happy to have a humble existence away from the magic and just exploring and feeling good about yourself, waking up to good feelings within who you are and all that sort of thing. But why not expand it to, wow, I could like teleport now to a different location, different frequency, different, which gives me even more expansion, right? So I am talking quite a bit of a path to get to, but also they're telling me it can be as quick as that when you've learned to completely still your mind and live purely more in the moment and allow your logical mind to ground the story that you wish or desire. So there's so much more to this. Yeah, don't stop. You're not going to create more garbage or anything. Whatever you are manifesting into your life. Say, for instance, I would go down the street and go, I really need a bird cage because I want to get my daughter a bird and a bird cage for her birthday, and I can't afford the bird cage. And I just was driving and I went, somebody has found a bird cage in their garage and they are putting it out on the footpath now. And I will see it tomorrow. And I did. It was the same street that I was thinking that. Here's this bird cage. And it was the perfect size. So, one person's garbage is another person's reward kind of thing. Yeah. It's cool. So, but then there can become a time where we can become so clear that the storyline shifts quicker. And when the storyline shifts quicker, we can manifest faster. Yeah. But then we also might want to just experience this slower story, like I said at the beginning, and just find peace of mind within oneself. All of it is relevant and all of it is beautiful. And it's only within our own minds of thinking that we aren't love or that we need somebody outside of us to tell us who we are. That's where it becomes squiff, because you're no longer empowered and you are then at the mercy, or you've given your power to another to say that they're more important, they are more powerful and all of that than you are. But each and every life form has source energy residing through it, has its will to survive. Even a bug that's come in your reality that you're going to spray or you're going to whack, whatever, they've come into your reality to move from that avatar body so that they can free their soul to become another avatar body. So then life and death isn't as gloomy and horrible as what you expect, what you think it is. There's actually more to it, where life just exists and movement and transformation, but we have our own will of whether we put ourselves in danger to move out of this body, or whether we decide, no, even though I am in a dangerous position, I will get myself out of it. Your will is stronger than your outside reality, because it will bend to meet you. And that's where our freedom comes from, and we are stepping into no fear game. Okay, guys, I will leave you with that juicy information and what they're pouring through me. It's so cool. I love you heaps. Until next week. Might be back to Tuesday again. I'll see what happens anyway. I'm going with the flow with all of this. I could actually do another live at the end of this week on Friday or something, or just see how we go, and see what, messages pour through me and that sort of thing. But I'm going through a massive shift within my own self. And so I'm also honoring and respecting that. So love you guys heaps. Bye.